Today, I'm bringing you one of my trainings from my vault. This completely changed the way that I did my client experience and especially automation. When I put these tools into place, I went from a team of 27 down to a team of 8. And it made it so I could work 10, 15 minutes a day. So these systems I'm about to teach you are going to really cut down on the amount of time you're spending in your business and the amount of people that you're paying. Both things that we're always looking to, how to systematize and how to automate and how to just make our lives a little bit better and work smarter, not harder. And the strategies that I'm going to share are even more relevant today because you can really scale when it comes to using AI into your business, which is a lot of the things we talk about on this channel. But today I wanted to dive into a little bit more of the strategic piece of how we can start thinking about our business in a different way and see what's really possible. So let's dive in. Sometimes when people hear about automation and they hear about how you can automate things and just systematize things, like it goes over their head. And it's interesting talking with a lot of my clients. So if you are just like them, you hear all the ways that you can automate different things and you're like, can that, like, it seems too good to be true. Can that really happen? And I remember being in your shoes too. Like when I first started, I didn't realize all of the different ways that you can automate things. Like when I first started my business, I was keeping track of all of my clients on a spreadsheet and I was manually doing a lot of things. And I remember talking to someone and he was walking through some of the processes that I had in place. And he said, did you know that you can make it so you can automatically send out a contract? And that was such a pain point for me. I had a time where I had a sales team and my sales team finally closed a deal. It was like 10 p.m. on a Friday. And my VA who sent out contracts, she didn't start working again until Monday morning. So the client wasn't going to get their contract until Monday morning. So that means she had no login, she had no contract. So she just spent all this money and then got nothing. So over the 2 days of sitting there and thinking about everything, by Monday morning, she was like, I made the worst decision. I want a refund right now, because she didn't get anything. And that's when I was like, okay, I got to figure out how I can start adding an automation into my business. So I want to talk about automating your client experience. And when you think about automating your client experience, you may think, but you can't automate that. You can't make it so your audience is having a great experience and doing that without you. The truth is, you can. So I'm going to give you some examples of things that I do in my program that I have automated. I have been in the coaching industry for about 7 years now, and I coach people on marketing, strategy, those kind of things. And I've done lots of different marketing strategies and things like that. And the thing that I always wanted was to make sure I had a good customer experience. I wanted everyone to feel like they were taken care of, they made a good decision, and that they were in the right place. Don't we all want that for our clients? Don't we all want our clients to, when they give us their credit card, that they're like, yes, this is a good decision, right? So we don't want them to be like, this is horrible, but I'm going to give you my credit card anyway. So when I started looking at the systems and the marketing and stuff that I was doing, I got that so it was working pretty good. And then I was focused on client experience because I wanted to make sure that they felt like they were being taken care of. And so the first thing that I implemented was what I call the power of one system. And what the system is, think about in their first hour what their experience is going to be. And how do you make that experience, again, the whole point, like the lens that we're looking through when we're making these decisions of our client experience, is how do we help our clients make sure that they feel like they made the right decision? So what happens in the first hour after either on a sales call, they give you their credit card, or they sign up for something online. And this could be, it doesn't matter if you have a very high touch, high ticket coaching program, or if you have a very low ticket membership. It doesn't really matter what it is that you're offering. you still want to think about that client experience. And if it's a super low ticket, like even if it's like a $7 thing that they're buying, you still want to think about the client experience. Because if you have an offer that's $7 or $14, something that's really a low ticket, and you have higher ticket things, if you really can make them feel like they're taken care of and that they made a right decision right from the get-go, then they are going to be more likely to purchase your higher ticket items. So keep that in mind. So what are you going to do for them in that first hour? So here are some examples. One is making sure that as soon as they purchase something, that they get all the things that they need to log in, they can get logged in. And then what does that welcome screen look like? How are you welcoming them in a Facebook group? So what are you doing in that first hour after they purchase? And this is where adding in automation, if you have a really low ticket item that you're selling a lot of. I know I've worked with some of my clients where they're getting 100, 200 sales a day. So that's a lot of people. So how do you automate it so every single one of those people still feel like they're being taken care of? So what are you going to do in the first hour? The next thing you look at is the first day. So that first 24 hours. How can you help them make sure that they feel like they made the right decision in that first 24 hours? What can you do? Maybe that's where you want to celebrate them publicly on Facebook. Or one of the things that I did in a coaching program I did a few years ago is I ordered them, this was for a high ticket coaching offer. As soon as they would sign up, I would order them. It's the edible arrangements. That's what it's called. So you have the chocolate dipped fruit and stuff like that, and it looks really nice. So I like giving gifts that are things that you normally wouldn't get. And giving gifts that are things that really the whole family can enjoy. Because that's part of my brand is like I have 4 kids and I'm all about family. And so because that's a part of my brand, I want to make sure that even the gifts that I'm giving is a part of that. And what I like about edible arrangements is that when you order it, you can have same day delivery. So think about if you were to spend $5,000 or $10,000 on a coaching program, and then that day you get a gift from the person that just enrolled with this beautiful edible arrangement of fruit dipped in different kinds of chocolate, and it just says, "Hey, thank you so much for entrusting me with your business." You get that within that first day or even the next day. That speaks volumes. So that is a huge thing that you can do to help build that customer experience. Then the next thing is in that first week. What can you do in that first week to really make sure that they're feeling like they're taken care of? So there's lots of things you can do. This is where you can do gifts if it's not going to be like the same day delivery or the next day. Amazon is great to order gifts. You can do chocolate covered strawberries. I'm pretty sure they still have those on Amazon. That is always my go-to because who doesn't like chocolate covered strawberries? But think about what you can do within that first week. So if you are looking at this lens of how can I make sure that people are really feeling, yes, I made the right decision. And in the first hour, the first day, the first week, and the first month, that is being like really just honed in and driven in, and people are really feeling like they're being taken care of. What do you think that's going to do to your referrals? What do you think that's going to do for your client satisfaction? What do you think that's going to do for word of mouth and testimonials and all of those things? It's going to increase your business so much because you're thinking about what is that client experience really going to be like. So when it comes to client experience, there's some things that you can do in your business right now that really are going to make a difference for how your clients experience what you have to offer. Especially if you are a coach, you have courses, you do a membership, having a place that they can log in, get access to videos anytime they want. I remember I was talking to one of my clients before I started working with her, and everything was being delivered through a VA was sending a Google Drive link. And every week they would get a new link of all the videos that they needed to watch that week. And then they had a weekly group call. That works if you're like very first launching. But if you're trying to scale to have a 6 and 7 figure business, that is not sustainable. And also if you want to raise your prices, that is not a customer experience. That is a very high ticket feel. So by creating a system where someone can purchase, sign a contract, and then get their login information in a matter of minutes is priceless. You think about if I'm someone and I'm purchasing something and I'm super excited, like I want to dive right in right now. If you make them wait, that excitement is going to go down. And then when they actually get into your content, they're not going to be as excited as they were because that excitement has fallen away. It always is better to just keep the momentum going. And you probably have seen this in your own business, right? That when you have momentum, like things start moving and you start getting better ideas and more things start coming to you because of the momentum that you have built. And you want to be able to create that momentum for your clients as well. So being able to have them pay, sign a contract, and then if you do contracts, if you don't do contracts, pay, get a login right away. That is really important. It's that contract piece that usually throws a lot of people off because there's not great ways to automate that. You can do it, but it also is expensive to automate that piece. So that's something to look into. The next thing is having one login for everything. So I made this change in my coaching business about a year and a half ago. So I was like probably a lot of you that you have your course and it's built on some platform. So Kajabi or Kartra or Teachable, there's so many of them out there. You have your course built over here, but then your community is over here. So this could be in Facebook, it could be in Telegram or Discord. There's lots of places you could have the community aspect. But what I have found is that when you have them two separately, they feel like two separate things, when really they should go together. They should go hand in hand. And I have found when I had one system over here, so I had my course over here where they could reach out for support and like maybe it was just filling out a form that went to an email or something to get help, that the questions that were being asked over here, sometimes people would ask the same questions in the community and they weren't looking at what was actually happening in one place versus the other. And most of the time I had a much harder time building up that engagement inside the community. So I'd love to hear in the comments, how many of you have a course and a community and they're separate and are struggling with engagement inside your community? So what I found when we put the two together in one platform where they had the course and a community that acted just like Facebook, where there were groups and there was personal messaging and they felt like they were able to connect with each other better, that we actually saw our engagement rise by about 40%. So I want you to think about your business right now. What would happen if the engagement between community members increased by 40% right now in your business? How many more referrals would you get? How many more testimonials would you get? And especially for those of you who have a membership or some sort of ongoing recurring payments that people are paying to stay inside the community, what is that going to do to the amount of time that your clients stay? I know for me, I have a high ticket coaching program. I also have a monthly membership. And in the monthly membership, when I really started focusing on the community and building up the engagement and building up that community feel, that we have people stay in our membership way longer. And it's because of the community. And we ask them, I've had people message me and they say, I don't feel like I really need to have all of the trainings and stuff that you have to offer, but I just love this community. Like, I'm going to stay here forever. And it's that community feel all of the connections that they make, that's what makes people stay. It's not your content. And that's what I find, especially with people who have memberships. They feel like I have to keep adding more and more content or else people are not going to stay, which that's just not true. They stay for the community. They come for the content. They stay for the community. So being able to put those two things together, it really is magical. Now I'm going to take it to a next step, because I told you that this is all about automation, right? We talked a little bit about automating your contracts, but being able to automate things when you have both your course and your community in one place makes it so you can do some really cool automations. For example, one thing you can do is every single time that someone signs up, you can automate a post into your group that welcomes the new community member. When they go and they log in, they are excited to get into the community and they see you've already welcomed them, especially for those of you who have built up a following and you have people who really know who you are. I remember the first time I was taking the sales call, this was 2 or 3 months into my business, and I got on the phone with her and she's, oh my gosh, you're the girl from the webinar. I can't believe you're talking to me. People feel that way about you. So if you are automatically welcoming them into the community, that speaks volumes, and you can do that all automatically. Then let's say as they're going through your program, and if you are like most of my clients who are very heart-centered, they just want the best for their clients and they just want to see their clients succeed, right? That you always feel like you need to be adding more and more into your programs. You need to be giving them more. And I remember going into that, and then sometimes you find that you have given so much that now they're super overwhelmed, right? So one of the ways to still give extra value, but not overwhelm, is to give your clients the information they need when they need it. So how do you do that? Remember, I had said that when you have a platform where you can have your community and you can have your course all together in one place, that it also, that community piece with the groups has that personal messaging feature. So in that personal messaging feature, one of the things that you can do is, let's say that you're teaching your clients about how to bake a cake. So they watch the lesson, they see how to bake a cake. It's this big, elaborate kind of cake. And how many of you, whenever you're like learning how to do something, you want to see examples? Let me know in the chat. How many of you want to see examples? Once I see it, then I'm like, okay, I got this. So I want you to think from a client experience. Think of you as the client, that you're so excited, you're going to learn how to make this cake, and you watch the video and you're like, okay, this is great, I get it, but I would like to see some more examples about that. And then all of a sudden you get a personal message in your inbox. So you click on it and it's a message from your coach that says, hey, I just saw that you finished the lesson about making a cake. I thought that you probably would like to see some more examples. So here are a few links to other students that we have that have also created cakes so you can see what they've done too. That is magical. Like from a client's perspective, like you just added value to them when they just finished a lesson. And you can do all of that automatically. So these are the things that I have done inside my coaching program that has allowed me to work about 10 minutes a day on my business. Because now, instead of focusing on who is it that I can help, I know who's falling through the cracks. Because I can see where every single person's at. I can see the client journey. I can see who needs help, who has asked questions. I can respond to people that have asked me questions. And really it takes 10, maybe 15 minutes a day, and that's it. I was at 27 people on my team. Then when I started looking at, one, my profits went super, super small because I had so many people that were on payroll. And then I was looking through and saying, okay, what are some things that we can cut? So I tried to cut systems. I am great at budgeting, but this was a little bit different. So I was looking at all the things that I could cut. And one of the things I saw is it finally clicked that I was automating my business through people instead of automating my business through systems. A lot of the time, I see so many of my clients that go through this too, because they don't know what systems are out there. Like, we don't know what we don't know. We do know that we can hire people and they can do stuff, but we may not know that there's platforms or software out there that can actually do what you've hired a person to do. And I don't know about you, but how many of you would much rather have a software do something than a person do it, especially if it's like a monotonous thing that happens all the time? I would much rather have a software do it, because guess what? They never sleep. They don't take vacations. They don't get sick, and they perform 99% of the time. How many of you can say that about one of your VAs or one of your employees? I can't say that. As much as I love my team, like, things happen. So having a system to be able to actually do some of these automations versus having a person do it, one, it makes your business run better. And two, 99% of the time, it's way cheaper. So I started looking at what are some ways that I can now automate my business with systems versus with people. And by doing that, I went from 27 people on my team to now I think we have 8. That is massive. Think how much just in payroll that I was able to save. It's amazing. So if you're thinking about your business, and you're like most of my clients, you're looking at, okay, what are all of the things that I'm doing that maybe I could automate, or maybe I have someone else doing that I could put into a system or a software. I work 10 to 15 minutes a day, and now you can have that for your business as well. So as you're thinking through this, you probably are like looking at your business, looking at the things you can automate. The things that you're realizing is, what you really want is you want to scale. You want to get more clients. That's what everybody wants, right? That's why everyone loves getting into the lead gen and getting into what can I do on social media? How can I get more people to talk to? Because if I have more people to talk to, I'll be able to get more clients, which is going to increase my revenue. All things that we want, right? But if you don't have the right systems and the right processes in place, when you have 10 people versus when you have 200 people or 1,000 people, it's not going to work. And so you are going to actually block the leads from coming because you aren't ready for all of those leads. So having a system that can scale with you is super important. And that's what I found with a lot of these like all-in-one systems that say they're all-in-one, that they're great until you hit a certain point in your business. And then after that, you can't scale because it's not going to do all the things that you need it to do in order to scale your business. So having something that can scale with you is super important. Also, as you're thinking through all the things that you want to do in your business, the only way we can help more people is to be able to streamline some of the things that we do and get things off our plate. Because just think, if you didn't have to wake up and worry about how your systems are working and is Zapier still working, and you have all of these issues that come up in your business that you have to then go and fix. If all of that was taken away, all of the technology, all of the stuff that you hate doing in your business, and you could focus just on the thing that you want in your business, how much more are you going to be excited to wake up in the morning and be like, yes, I get to go to work today because I get to go and help more people. I get to make a bigger impact. I get to really make a difference in other people's lives. That is really what drives you. But sometimes those days when you wake up and you're like, oh, I have so much to do today. Let's take all of that and put it over here so we can just focus on really our zone of genius.
I'd love to know in the comments what your biggest takeaways were from this training. What are some things you want to start implementing? Maybe it's just the fact that your eyes are open to seeing something bigger and the things that you can do either in your business or for your clients' businesses. I would love to know in the comments what those things are. And as always, I want you to keep thinking strategically. We'll see you guys next time.